So traders, what I want to do in today's video, I want to share with you why I believe King Russell is the one that's likely to make the biggest move out of all the indices coming over the next 3 to 6 months. And that's what I want to share with you in today's video. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. So let me share something with you here. And it's a bit of a technique that I utilize and that I've learned across these markets. And the reason why I like the Russell, and I think the Russell's likely to make the biggest moves. Now, obviously, guys, you know, this doesn't mean it's going to go straight up every day. So, make sure you have a good system and strategy, and there's no guarantees of making a profit, right? So just make sure, I need to say that because just make sure you're smart. Right? This could go down, as you can see with what's happening with the actual Russell lately, right? Look how volatile the Russell is. So just be smart about the way that you're actually doing things. And what I mean by smart is, like, yes, I believe the Russell is likely to make some really good moves. That doesn't mean we can't drop 10% first, right? I'll put that out there for you guys. Anyway, so the reason why I like King Russell in the markets is because when you start to understand the concepts of what and how these markets operate, right? What and how these markets operate. And what I mean by that is that whenever we start to see these markets start to form in, what we console these, like a consolidation sideways phase, right? So you look at say for example, the YM. If we look at the YM, the Dow, what happened with the Dow for a couple of years here? We basically did nothing, right? Just basically did nothing, just went sideways through here. So you can see for there, and especially before we actually had this breakout to the upside, this nice trend to the upside, what did we have? We actually had nothing going on. We had nothing going on for quite some time, and especially since the end of 2022, we actually had all of this through here, right? So all that period through there is in conjunction of obviously being a nice good bull market, but as you can see, nothing going on for 12 months, and especially all through here. Whenever we do get that, we tend to actually, we go from no trend, mean flatten the market for a few years, and then we start to make a trend in place, right? So we start to get that foundations of the way these markets operate and the way these markets work, okay? The big picture here. So one of the things that I really want to share with you is this, okay? That we can see that through there. And if I go say, look at, for example, gold. Why is gold making such a big move? And it's the same sort of concept, right? The same sort of concept. Really, really, really fascinating. Whenever we do get these periods of where the market is sort of range bounding, and just really not going up a lot, not going down a lot, but just staying range bound for a good couple of years. Whenever we do break, we tend to what? We tend to get really, 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 really big moves in that direction from there. Makes sense? And we just see this time and time again. Look what happened back down through here. We actually had a lot of time, didn't we? Or we had a lot of sideways movement all through here. And then what did we do? We actually started to have this really big move to the upside, right? So we can see that through there. Right, we can see what's going on through there. And so if I bring back to what's going on right now with all the indices, okay, so looking at the daily charts, we can go look at the Nasdaq, and the Nasdaq really hasn't got that pattern here, right? So the Nasdaq's still very strong. I'm not saying it's not a strong upward trend, which it is, right? We'll look at the ES, right? What's the ES doing? Not really much, right? Not really much. But as you can see, right, whenever we do, just like the ES, look at this bit through here. So that there was what? A good couple of years of sideways movement, not really much going on. And then eventually we actually made a big breakout. And so whenever we do get these periods through here, we inevitably go from no one in control, no trend, to a breakout to someone in control, a big trend. Makes sense? So that's what we're seeing through there of that. And so now if I go bring up the Russell, you'll be able to see what I'm looking at here and why I'm looking at this level here. Right, and now let's bring up actually the weekly charts through here so we can look at the much, 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 much bigger picture, right? Is that going to bring up let's bring up the IWM and see if that brings up a lot more. There we go, cool. All right, so we can see that by looking at this chart through here, what do we see? Right? We see that what's been happening as of late is what? We actually had a good couple of what? Sideways movements from here, really sort of long extended period of sideways movement, didn't we? And then what did we have? And then now we've actually had the breakout, and we actually had another one through here. So, but as you can start to see, look what's happening. Went sideways, breakout, sideways, and now we're breaking out through here overall in this weekly chart. But as you can see, we're starting to what? Overall lead in that direction. Now it's messy, right? Lots of volatility through here, okay? But as you can see, we're starting to make that way up. So looking at this level here, this has a real good chance now of starting to make a really nice move to the upside. That's the overall picture, remember guys, that's the overall picture. And what I mean by that is that for the next couple of days, we may get a bit of a drop through here, okay? We may get something like that through here. So that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, the overall picture is that the overall direction looks really bullish for the overall Russell sector here. And this is why I've always said, this is why for me personally, I've always looked at the King Russell as the market that's probably likely to make the biggest moves after, you know, after we've done all this sort of stuff through here, right? So, and that it's probably the Russell is the first, and the Russell is the first, and the Dow is the second. And the reason why the Dow is the second, because as we've talked about in today's session here, let me bring up the weekly chart here for a minute. Right, this is the weekly chart. As you can already see, right, I've got these lines through here, but you can see that on this weekly chart, what do we have? Right, we really had this sort of sideways, not much going on, and now we're starting to break out again. So, I believe the Dow has a lot more higher targets to come from here to here. When it comes to that, again, the S&P and the Nasdaq are much harder because they've already had really big moves. But in the context of what I'm talking about here, is whenever we do get that, we tend to break out and have really good moves, right? And again, if you look back here, look at this back here, look at this period back here, right? We tend to get this sideways movement, and then we tend to get a breakout. And when we do get a breakout, we tend to have a really nice move. Again, this is the overall picture. We do have our down weeks and our months where we're going sideways through here, but the overall picture is up. And now we're breaking to the upside. We can see we've actually started to have a really nice trend. So within the Russell, once the Russell really starts to gallop and start to pick up above these highs up here, and so if I bring up the Russell again, once the Russell can really start to get above these highs up here, and we're starting to get that, we're starting to make our way up there. Once we do break up above here, we're likely to what? We're likely to, just like the Dow, right? Look at the Dow. Just when the Dow broke, we had a really nice move for quite some time. And now looking at the Russell, just like the Russell, I do see the Russell now likely to have a really nice move to the upside. And especially when we start to get above all-time new highs, coming off the back of all of this, not much going on for a while, tells us we should expect a really nice trend for a while.